Got your first guitar. Good on you. Alright, so now let's start talking about some of the basics that you'd want to know. First off, let's talk about the guitar itself. So let's start at the very top of the guitar, at the head. On the head you'll find your tuning pegs, and then if you go down, you have the neck. On the neck you have the nut right here, and these are called frets. And these markers are called position markers. So they're really quite handy, just to, especially when you're first starting out, to get an idea where your fingers need to know, because it's pretty much an industry standard to have them on any guitar on the same frets. So you have your 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 17th, and 19th. And then let's move down to the actual body. So this is the body of the guitar. This is the sound hole if you have an acoustic. Usually you can find them in the middle. This is where on an acoustic guitar the sound is produced. And you see I have a hybrid guitar, so I have part electric and part acoustic. So if I turn down my volume, because I have a sound chamber right here, I can still get a pretty good sound out of it, even if it's unplugged. And this here is called the pickup. This is mostly used on electric guitar, and some acoustic that can be plugged in do have pickups. It just sends the signal to the amplifier. And this is a pickup controller, because many guitars have multiple pickups and you can switch the pickup and it changes the sound. And this is just your knobs to control volume, sometimes gain, or whichever. Alright, now that you're a bit more familiar with the actual guitar, let's dive into the strings. So a guitar is normally tuned in standard E, which would be an E chord. So when all the strings are hit, you would get the E chord. So it sounds nice all by itself without pressing on any of the frets. So each string has its own note, obviously. So the top string here, that would be a low E. Then an A, D, G, B, and the high E. So it's always very important to make sure your guitar is always tuned, or it's probably going to sound like crap. So a way to find out if your guitar is tuned is you press on the E string, the low E on the 5th. This should be the same note as the 5th string A. Then you can do the same thing on the A. It should be A, D. Then lower again. And it changes on the G string. Once you're on the G string, you have to move to fret 4, and that should be your B. Then back to the 5th string for your E. And there you have it. Okay, now let's start talking about different things you could use with your guitar. A tuner is always a very good idea. You can either buy yourself a tuner or just download an app on your phone, which works pretty well. You have picks, which are quite useful, and picks come in different thickness depending on which style you want to play or what you feel comfortable with. So when you hold the pick, you'd want to hold it tight, but not too tight. You still want to relax. So just between your thumb and your index finger. So kind of just like this. Capo is another thing. This will change the key that your guitar is in. Because normally you're in the key of E, but then we can just change it. Now I'm in the key of G. I would suggest getting this since a lot of songs will use a capo. And just for fun, I haven't really gotten to use it, but this is a slider. It just gives it a bit of that bluesy sound. Like, it's a fun toy. I really should get it on that. Alright, now let's start tabs. So, with the guitar, it's really easy to read because of tabs. Obviously, it's always, I would suggest you learn a bit of theory, reading notation. It's quite useful, but it takes a while, so tabs can fast track your playing without actually having to know theory, but don't use it too much as a crutch. So this is my E minor chord. So up here I have my low E, which is a 0, which means it's open. You don't press on any fret. Then 2-2, I press on the second fret and open. And I've laid out this tab of the E minor chord, but this means I only hit one string at a time. And here I press all this string at a time. And this is my C major 7 chord. You'll notice I have an X here. That means it's a muted string, and you just don't play it. So this is my E minor chord played as a chord. So this one. And this is me playing this version. Alright, so I think this is all you need to know for now. I'll get on with another lesson pretty soon. I'll probably do spider walks just to get you started and to really build up that finger strength.